right, this is a class review video for what I called in class the Isopop. So that's this. Sometimes you'll see it called an isopop. Sometimes I think linear isolation is what it technically is. I think this is also a linear isolation. So I guess that's maybe anything that where the hoop isolates in that linear shape back and forth. I'm just gonna call it the Isopop because it does have this little pop. But one thing to keep in mind is that part of the point is to linearly isolate it as it pops out, and that'll come into play with part of the explanation to not let it drop. So as a prerequisite, it will help to at least be familiar, if not comfortable, with a one-handed isolation, leading with the pinky. And I guess leading with the thumb too. I think you could do it either way. The way I taught it was leading with the pinky. So if the hoop is in my right hand, my hand's at the base of the hoop, I'm going to be leading with my pinky over to the right in a one-handed linear isolation. All right, so far so good. It's about the same. When I get down to about my 9 o'clock, so my arm is across my body over on the left side. My right arm is on the left side. And as I bring it down as if I were gonna still isolate it around, instead of completely completing the isolation, as I pull past 9, I'm still bringing my hand towards my body, but now instead of finishing out the isolation down at the base, I'm pushing the hoop forward. So it's almost as if it were rolling on a table or on the ground. You might get the feel for that. So I'm pushing it out in that linear isolation. So when the hoop is fully extended, my arm is fully extended, I'm now at the hoop's 3 o'clock. So here is at the 9, push it out. Now my hand is at the hoop's 3 o'clock. But it's across my body. And then what it's gonna do is it's gonna roll over the back of your hand in the same way that it does for an isolation. It's out here, it's gonna roll over the back of your hand, you're gonna re-grip, and you're gonna finish the isolation. You're gonna complete it as you're pulling the hoop back towards your body. Okay, so push it out. Now here, as it rolls, this part's important. You need to lift your arm a little bit so that, because if you're just here and you let it roll over your hand, the hoop is gonna drop below that linear plane, and it's not gonna look quite as clean and pretty and produce that isolated effect. So in order to keep the bottom of the hoop from dipping below, you lift your hand a little bit as it rolls over, and that keeps it more or less in line. Can really help to do this in front of a mirror. If you don't have a mirror, do it a bunch of times, play it back and record yourself, play it back on a video so you can see what you might need to adjust. All right, so again, in my right hand, pinky leading, roll over. As I'm getting to about 9, I start pushing, so the top of the hoop is coming out, and my hand, as the hoop is pushing out, my hand is simultaneously extending further across my body. And then as it's at this 3 o'clock, I release with my thumb up so that I can roll over the back of my hand, release and lift. And as I'm re-grasping it, that's brought the hoop back. I re-grasp it about 9 and roll it back in towards my body, finishing up the isolation as I'm also bringing my hand to my front again. So I'll often do a full isolation, and then when I'm actually doing it in practice, I bring my hand a little bit more past 9 than I did in that breakdown, but you'll start to get a feel for it. As I'm kind of simultaneously, as I go past 9, I think about the push out, and so I'm still drawing my hand back in a little bit as the hoop pushes out before I extend up. So pushing, my hand is coming down towards the base of the hoop while I'm pushing it out and starting to extend. So then simultaneously, when I start pushing my hand further out, it pushes the hoop to its full extension, if that makes sense. So I kind of bring it in as the hoop starts to push, and then I help push the hoop out as I extend my hand, lift it, pops back in, and bring it back to finish it out. All right. Left hand. This video might cut off, we'll see. Leading with the pinky, going around as you get to now 3 o'clock, and getting past that, as you're bringing it, you're kind of simultaneously pushing the hoop out as you're pulling your hand as if you're going to be finishing the isolation. The hoop is pushing out. You lift your arm as the hoop continues to push out to that side. Your hand's now at 9 on the hoop. And you release with your thumb side first, releasing it up. It rolls over the back of your hand. You re-grasp and pull it in. My left hand is not quite as clean as my right hand. All right, good luck.